Have you ever seen a player capable of sprinting at full speed in the 120th minute as if the match had just begun? In Brazil, he is not merely a defender, he is Pendolino, the high-speed train with no stop button. While other defenders are running out of steam by age 30, this man conquered Europe at 37. Many say Dani Alves is the most successful fullback, or that Roberto Carlos was the most lethal. But when it comes to the gold standard for a right back, he is the sole reason the right flank of both Brazil and AC Milan felt like an impenetrable wall and simultaneously a lethal weapon. Having appeared in 3 consecutive World Cup finals, when the world debates the greatest right back of all time, only one name stands at the pinnacle. It is not merely a matter of skill, but of physical endurance that transcends the limits of ordinary human capability. This is the story of an enduring legend, Marcos Cafu. Cafu was a product of the Brazilian fullback revolution of the 1990s, a time when the national team adopted a philosophy that encouraged fullbacks to play more aggressively in attack. It is no surprise then that Cafu developed into a fullback with exceptional attacking attributes. Alongside Roberto Carlos, Cafu was truly iconic in his time. Together, they set the standard for fullbacks of that era. Cafu was the type of right back who could surge into the opponent's penalty area with extraordinary speed, making him the most attack-minded right back of his day. In his prime, Cafu was a world beater who collected medals from 3 consecutive World Cup finals, the 1994, 1998, and 2002 editions. He lifted the gold trophy twice in 1994 and 2002 and finished as a runner-up once in 1998. Marcos Evangelista de Moraes was born in São Paulo, Brazil, on the 7th of June, 1970, 2 weeks before Carlos Alberto scored one of the greatest goals in history, leading Brazil to a 4-1 victory over Italy in the 1970 World Cup final. Like many other Brazilian players, before conquering the world, Cafu honed his football skills on the streets. He played as a right midfielder from a young age. This is the origin of the nickname Cafu, which was inspired by Cafuringa, a Brazilian right winger who was quite popular in the 1970s. Growing up in a São Paulo slum, he was often considered to lack the imposing physique required to play as a right midfielder. Consequently, he failed to stand out, leading to his rejection by more than 10 professional Brazilian clubs, including Corinthians, Atlético Mineiro, and Portuguesa. Yet, it was the rough streets of Jardim Irene, São Paulo, that taught him never to give up. Cafu eventually got the chance to try out for the São Paulo Academy at the age of 18, around 1988 or 1989, as the technical ability, stamina, and determination he had honed through street football impressed the academy coaches enough for them to sign him. It was at this club that his legendary journey truly began. São Paulo coach Tele Santana recognized Cafu's genuine potential and suggested he switch positions from right midfielder to fullback. Initially, Cafu was uncomfortable taking on this role. I was initially uncomfortable playing as a fullback, especially because I had to learn a new way of delivering crosses. However, when Paulo Roberto Falcao called me up to the Brazil squad in 1990, I realized that Santana was right, he said. For 5 years, Cafu was mentored by Santana, who molded him into the new Leandro, Santana's key right back from the 1982 World Cup. Santana's brand of attacking football gave fullbacks the freedom to join the attack, making defensive duties seem like a secondary priority for these players. However, what Santana taught truly paid off. During his time with Sao Paulo, Cafu won the Brazilian Serie A title, the Copa Sudamericana, the Copa Libertadores, and even the Intercontinental Cup. Although his crossing ability was not his strongest suit, arguably his only weakness, his blistering pace offered an alternative outlet on Sao Paulo's right flank, making him a formidable attacking force. Furthermore, Cafu was occasionally deployed in his original position as a right midfielder. This versatility made him a vital asset for the Brazilian Giants. His brilliant performance as a right-back earned Cafu a place in the Brazilian national team squad that traveled to the United States for the 1994 World Cup. At that World Cup, Cafu was actually only Jorginho's backup. However, in the final match against Italy after 20 minutes, Jorginho was injured. This then gave Cafu the opportunity to show off his abilities. Cafu certainly made the most of the opportunity. He performed exceptionally well in both attack and defense, helping to keep Brazil's goal clean. Brazil went on to defeat Italy in a penalty shootout, marking Cafu's first World Cup title and Brazil's fourth. An impressive performance in the 1994 World Cup final, combined with a string of trophies won with Sao Paulo, ultimately paved the way for Cafu's move to Europe, where he joined the Spanish La Liga in the 1994-95 season. At that time, Cafu was signed by Real Zaragoza. Unfortunately, he stayed there for only one season. His arrival coincided with the brilliant form of club legend Alberto Belsué at right back, making it difficult for Cafu to secure a starting spot. His situation in Spain became even more challenging when he suffered a severe case of pubalgia, further limiting his playing opportunities. Faced with a difficult situation, Cafu chose to return to Brazil. His primary objective was actually Palmeiras. However, an agreement between Sao Paulo and Zaragoza prohibited him from moving directly to that club. Cafu was first signed by Juventude in mid-1995. The contract was arranged to ensure he remained active on the pitch. He was subsequently recruited by Palmeiras in 1996. Technically, this meant he did not violate the agreement previously made between Sao Paulo and Zaragoza. At Palmeiras, Cafu rediscovered his best form, earning him a spot in the Brazil squad for the 1997 Copa America. At the 1997 Copa America in Bolivia, Cafu played in all three group stage matches, in which Brazil defeated Costa Rica 5-0, Mexico 3-2, and Colombia 2-0. He then helped Brazil beat Paraguay 2-0 in the quarterfinals, followed by a 7-0 victory over Peru in the semifinals. The final match was played against the hosts Bolivia. With Cafu in the squad, Brazil won 3-1, securing a fifth continental title for the Times Samba Times team and their first one on foreign soil. Cafu was a key player in the team, led by coach Mario Zagallo and captained by Carlos Dunga. In the competition, Ronaldo Il Fenomeno scored 5 goals to become the tournament's top scorer, followed by Romario and Leonardo with 3 goals each. That success with Brazil at the Copa America once again opened the door for Cafu to move to Europe. Following the tournament, he was signed by AS Roma in 1997. At the time, the capital's Wolves were managed by Zdenek Zeman. Cafu arrived at Roma as an attack-minded fullback. Under Zeman's guidance, his attacking prowess flourished thanks to the freedom the coach granted him. At the time, Zdenek Zeman transformed Roma into an attack-oriented side, employing an offside trap position near the halfway line. This tactic bears a striking resemblance to the approach used by Hansi Flick's Barcelona today. This tactic was perfectly suited to Cafu, who possessed blistering speed and boundless stamina. He was a nightmare to stop, frequently leaving opposing players scrambling and utterly exhausted, a key asset during his time as Roma's right back. Cafu subsequently brought Zeman's teachings to the Brazilian national team at the 1998 World Cup. He became a key attacking outlet for Brazil, alongside Roberto Carlos, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, and Bebeto, helping Mario Zagallo's Seleção times reach the semi-finals. Unfortunately, Cafu did not play in the semi-final match against the Netherlands due to card accumulation. His position was temporarily filled by Zé Carlos. Fortunately, Brazil defeated the Netherlands in a penalty shootout and advanced to the final against France. Cafu played again in the final, but unfortunately, Brazil's journey ended in an anticlimax. A France side led by Zinedine Zidane demonstrated their dominance with a resounding 3-0 victory. After the 1994 World Cup concluded, Cafu played one more season under Zeman. Deemed a failure, Zeman was eventually dismissed in the summer of 1999 and replaced by Fabio Capello. Capello's arrival marked the dawn of a golden generation for Roma. In his first season, the team managed only a sixth-place finish. However, in the summer of 2000, the club president invested €50 million to sign Gabriel Batistuta, Emerson Ferreira, and Walter Samuel, with Hidetoshi Nakata joining them in January 2001. The result was that Roma successfully secured their third Serie A title in the 2000-2001 season. The 176 centimeters tall player was no mere passenger, simply tagging along for the celebrations. He was a crucial member of the squad, managed by Fabio Capello at the time. However, before clinching the title, Cafu produced a remarkable moment during the match against their arch-rivals Lazio in December 2000, a display of samba flair that sent the Olimpico crowd into a frenzy. It is remarkable how he made a player as great as Nedved look like an amateur, executing a times sombrero, times flicking the ball over Nedved's head not just once, but 3 times. While it may not have been quite as significant as scoring a goal or providing a late assist in that same match, the moment was deeply meaningful to him. The added bonus of securing 3 points made it all the sweeter as they marched toward the championship title. It is therefore fitting that Cafu earned a place in the AS Roma Hall of Fame. He also acquired the nickname Il Pendolino during his time with the club. Pendolino is actually the name of an Italian-made train, a high-speed express model for long-distance travel that was the fastest of its era in Europe. A year after winning the Serie A title, Cafu successfully secured his second World Cup trophy. He achieved this feat while captaining the Samba Times squad. Initially, Cafu was not the designated captain, but he assumed the role after Emerson suffered a shoulder injury just before the tournament began. As the most senior player, aged 32 at the time, he led Brazil's young squad to their 5th world title. Moreover, at the 2002 World Cup, Cafu played the full duration of all 7 matches. Most impressively, he was never substituted. It is no wonder people dubbed him a player with double lungs, as he displayed extraordinary stamina despite no longer being young in the most competitive tournament of all. While lifting the trophy on the podium following a 2-0 victory over Germany in the final, Cafu displayed the message 100% Jardim Irene on his shirt as a tribute to his hometown. In addition to the record of reaching 3 consecutive finals, Cafu helped Brazil achieve a perfect record by winning all 7 of their matches in the tournament. As he was no longer young, the temptation to wind down his career in Japan presented itself. However, in 2003, Cafu chose to move to Milan, driven by a goal he had yet to achieve, winning the Champions League. At the age of 33, the man from Sao Paulo began his career with the Rossoneri. Many assumed the right-back would not spend more than a few years at San Siro. However, Cafu proved his doubters wrong by winning the league title in his debut campaign with the Rossoneri. In 2005, he led Milan to the Champions League final. Milan entered the match against Liverpool as the favorites. They even managed to score 3 goals in the first half. However, a miracle unfolded. Liverpool scored 3 equalizing goals and ultimately won via a penalty shootout. At the age of 35, Cafu's chances of winning the Champions League appeared to have vanished. Gradually, his spot on the right side of Milan's defense was taken over by Massimo Odo, who was 6 years his junior. Nevertheless, in 2007, Milan once again reached the final, facing Liverpool yet again. This time, the Times Rossoneri Times did not squander the opportunity, securing a 2-1 victory thanks to a brace from Filippo Inzaghi. Although Cafu did not play in the match, his presence on the bench entitled him to his first Champions League trophy. He realized that great dream as he neared the age of 37. It is hardly surprising then that Cafu's name also appears in the AC Milan Hall of Fame. It was his destiny to become a legend for both Roma and Milan. However, a year before that Champions League triumph, Cafu decided to retire from the Brazilian national team following their defeat to France in the 2006 World Cup quarterfinals. Despite bowing out under disappointing circumstances, Cafu still set a special record. He retired with 142 caps, making him the most capped player in the history of the Brazilian national team to this day. Although the defender did face some criticism towards the end of his career due to his lack of impact at the 2006 World Cup, largely viewed as a consequence of waning powers, there is no doubt that Cafu was one of the few players who did not experience a significant decline before retiring in 2008. Even with all the minor criticisms, there is no doubt that Cafu is not merely a benchmark for any right-back. Rather, he has set an incredibly high standard for any footballer aspiring to play that position.